Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no fuller on earth could bleach them. Then Elijah appeared to them, along with Moses, and they were conversing with Jesus. And Peter said to Jesus in reply, "Rabbi, it's good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He hardly knew what to say. They were so terrified. Then a cloud came, casting a shadow over them, and from the cloud came a voice, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone but Jesus with them. As they were coming down the mountain, he charged them not to relate what was seen to anyone, except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The Gospel this morning relates one of the strangest events that ever took place in the life of Jesus. We call it the transfiguration. And he took 3 of his disciples with him and went up to the top of the mountain. And there with the disciples watching, his appearance was transformed. Mark says his clothes became dazzling white, such as no fuller on earth could bleach them. Then an even stranger thing happened. Moses and Elijah appeared and had a conversation with Jesus. And finally, the strangest occurrence of all. Mark tells us that then a cloud came casting a shadow over them, and from the cloud came a voice, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Now I confess I have never quite known what to make of this event. My tendency is to look for practical purpose in things, especially in the life and ministry of Jesus. And seldom am I ever frustrated in that search. It seems to me that just about everything that Jesus said and did made good common sense. There was a reason behind it. His life had a purpose running through it from the very beginning to the end. On one occasion he said, "The Son of Man has come to search out and to save what was lost." That certainly makes sense. It's plain to see. In so many places, we human beings have lost our way and are in desperate need of someone to save us. He was crucified for the obvious reason that his way of living and teaching had offended authorities, the power structure of society. Jesus simply would not back down, and so the authorities killed him. He rose from the dead because, as Peter put it, it was impossible that death should keep its hold on him. Who he was and what he was so real and so right that nothing could overcome him, not even death. And so his whole life had a reason running through it from beginning to end. But what of this transfiguration experience? Why did his clothes become dazzling white? Why the conversation with Moses and Elijah? Why the cloud and the voice? What, if anything, are they supposed to mean? I've asked myself that question a number of times and have never come up with a satisfactory answer. My most honest response to the transfiguration of Christ is a sense of mystery and of wonder. And the thought has occurred to me that this might be the best answer. Perhaps the purpose of this unusual event is to remind us of the mystery and majesty of life. We can only imagine what the experience meant to Christ. But our gospel reading tells us what it did for these 3 disciples. Mark says they were overcome with awe. They were overcome with awe. Now I confess, I envy those men that experience. They were in the presence of something so magnificent that they could not understand it or explain it. All they could do was stand there in wide-eyed amazement. How long has it been since you had that kind of experience? When was the last time that you felt a sense of awe in the presence of anything? My guess is that for most of us it's been too long. In this modern world, with scientific knowledge exploding all around us, our tendency is to analyze everything, not be amazed by anything, at least not for very long. But it will be a sad day for you and me if we ever lose our ability to be amazed. But that need not happen. Indeed, it ought not to happen. The notion of science dispelling the mystery from life is simply not true. 2,500 years ago, the psalmist looked up at the stars and wrote, "The heavens declare the glory of God." And since that day, science has taught us many things about the heavens that the psalmist writer did not know. But this increased knowledge has by no means diminished the wonder of it all. To the contrary, the more we learn about God's universe, the more marvelous and mysterious it becomes. With his naked eye, the psalmist could see a few thousand stars. Now, through high-powered telescopes, it's possible to see billions of stars. And no one can even guess how many billions lie beyond the range of our instruments. The discoveries of modern science should enable you and me to say with even greater amazement, "The heavens declare the glory of God." There's another favorite verse in the Psalms that reads, "I will give thanks, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made." I will give thanks, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. The psalm writer was thinking about his own body and his own mind. He was amazed by the marvel of himself. And medical science has taught you and me many things about ourselves that the psalmist did not know about himself. But the mysteries of the human body and the human mind are in no way diminished. The psalmist never dreamed of transplanting organs from one person to another. And our day has come for us. So our generation, more than any other generation in history, has reason to echo the words of the psalmist. I will give you thanks, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Only 3 of his disciples were present that day when Jesus was transfigured. Obviously, we cannot share in that part of their experience, but we can share in their response to it. They were overcome with awe. Why should that not happen to you and to me, at least once in a while? The marvels and the mysteries of life are all around us, if only we would open our eyes and take the time to see them. This is a marvelous world in which we live, and a great time to be alive. In this Lent season, I challenge you, as I challenge myself, to open your eyes and